Carlos Barreto is an international marketing professional with extensive experience in building successful consumer businesses across multiple geographies. He has worked with major companies such as the Coca-Cola Company, P&G, Kimberly-Clark, and Revlon Corporation, honing his skills in product and brand building management. In the past 4 years, Carlos has successfully built a six-figure business with Cleverman, offering the most customized hair and beard color for men. Cleverman has recently received funding and is growing rapidly, launching new products and expanding into new channels. Carlos is passionate about delivering customized solutions to consumers and is excited to continue to grow and innovate in this space.
Carlos, welcome to the podcast. We are so happy to have you here with us on Volume Up. How's it going?
Great. Thank you very much. I'm very glad to be here.
Cannot wait to start. Let's talk a little bit about the beginning. How did you get to beauty? What's your background?
Okay, my first job was at Gillette. So it's when I began to work more with male grooming. Yeah. So I was working at Procter & Gamble, and I had the chance to work at the Gillette company. So I love it. Actually, it was one of the brands that I really liked. It was a great school, a great opportunity to work at that brand. And after that, I moved to Kimberly-Clark, where I was working in personal care. Then I worked for some time at Coca-Cola. And Coca-Cola was more in the innovation team. A great company also. Great opportunity to work with very talented, very smart people all around the world. Expanded my vision. I was before more working in Latin America, and I was working more in global. And then came the chance to go to Revlon. And I was more into, first I began with personal care, then I began to manage more hair color, hair care, and finally I finished managing all the Revlon brand, including cosmetics, skincare, a lot of beauty products. So it was very interesting, very exciting, especially when you are a guy, you don't use makeup, you need to understand all those trends and innovate. But it was a very, very, very exciting experience to work there and to work with such a brand. And then I decided to open my own business, and I saw an opportunity. I worked at Gillette. I was working a lot with male grooming. Then I was working at Revlon, seeing all the things that have women, in their arsenal to make themselves look great. And I say, why not to create a brand that really helps men to look good, to feel good about themselves? So we began this journey about Cleverman. And that's a little bit like a quick summary about how
I feel like you glossed over a few things there in service of getting us to the big thing, which is that you've created this brand. So you've brought the pieces together. Obviously, you mentioned Gillette, which is incredible. Revlon, there being an opportunity for men. So how did Cleverman come to be? Where did the name come from? Did you always think that you would build your own brand? I mean, these are sort of crazy things that come to life, and we want to hear everything.
Yeah, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur because my parents are entrepreneurs. Actually, I'm originally from Colombia. They had a small factory over there, and always, especially my mother, she was pushing me, you need to have your own business. You need to have your own business. And I began to progress in all these companies, working in different countries and meeting very nice people. And yeah, then I say, okay, this is like the time to do it. I have especially one great friend who pushed me to do that. And so I decided to that was the time. So I decided to go with this. So, but I tried before,
Sure.
I had some thoughts before, and I was thinking about opening maybe an advertising agency, an agency on media. I work in advertising, I work in communication. So I thought a lot about that. But inside me, I always wanted to do a product. And one of my passions all my life has been about innovation, And the opportunity to innovate, I think, was something that you can do more in a product. I like it more, my experience. I had like two industries that I worked with, personal care, beauty, and the space of beverages. And what I thought that I like beverages, and I had a great experience there in terms of the product. What is more interesting, I think, is personal care because you can innovate, you can change, you can create things all the time. So I had some level of fascination about that. So I always wanted to be develop a product. And then is when I came with a little bit about Cleverman. Hey, I want to do a brand. I saw also the opportunity in terms of when we look at the numbers, it was a big opportunity in terms of the male grooming, how it's growing, the trend, so big opportunity there. Also an opportunity in terms of specifically in the category that we began to launch, that it was hair color, beard dye, because there were not that many products, many solutions, but it was scalable. Today they are sold more, maybe around 25, 26 million boxes there. So why not to come with a solution that really addresses the need of the consumer? And also, I think that it was an opportunity to build a brand. I always work with great brands. I worked with Coca-Cola, I worked with Revlon, I worked with Gillette, Duracell. So I love brands. So I saw the opportunity to create a brand that really helps men to feel better about themselves, that unleash their confidence. And that was really also related to the purpose that we could have to help men to look and feel better. It is a lot of, we don't have as a man those moments to pamper ourselves, to look at ourselves and feel better about ourselves. I think that it is an opportunity definitely there to make people feel more confident, to feel good about the person that is looking at the mirror every single day. And now that you need to see all the time in the podcast, in the video, in the Zoom. So you are looking at yourself all the time. So how I can help that people to feel more how they feel inside. And another piece that it was super interesting in all this journey is how we are in that process of aging. We are going to live more years than maybe previous generations because all the advances of technology, etc. So when you are 50, you are at the middle of your life. So how we can help that people to feel good about themselves, to feel more confident, to feel more energetic. And we don't want to just stop here. We want to help people, and not just only in terms of how they look, but how they feel. Maybe maintain your energy, maintain your level of testosterone, maintain your vitality, so you can be that person that you feel inside. That's our mission.
I'm so obsessed with this. I think that it's so cool that you've thought through so much of this. And I'm sure that has a lot to do with the brand building experience that you've gotten in the past. What are the considerations? I mean, you've talked a lot about the mission and the purpose for Cleverman. When you were building this out, I mean, were there colors that you were gravitating towards, like the process of typography and the logo? Like, talk to us a little bit about that, because I feel like our audience maybe doesn't think about those things, which is, the bread and butter of what you're up to when it comes to branding.
Yeah, you know, Cleverman, its name is fun in that sense, because it's about to be clever. It's clever to use a little bit of moisturizing on sunscreen when you're protecting your skin. It's clever to look good. It's clever to maybe, as I mentioned, exercising, being vital, maintaining your life. So we wanted to build a brand that has legs since the beginning to go in different categories. We are a startup, so the other piece was more about where to launch, what first product to launch. And we decided to go to something that it was maybe more strategic, more porter, let's say.
Sure.
And that we didn't want to go into a crowded space, skincare or hair care. So we began with a more specific category, and proving there we wanted to go into other segments. So this is how we decided to go. But since the beginning, we wanted to be a brand that can have the legs to go in so many spaces. And our target is millennials. Our objective is to help people to look good and feel good about themselves. And we are looking for more anti-aging solutions to maintain, your look and your vitality. So that was like there on place. And in that way, we came with the name. And also, we wanted to be more fresh. I think that all the brands for men are like the same.
Yeah.
You open your cabinet and everything is brown, black,
Blue,
and bear and blue. Then we wanted to come with something that it was different in that sense. And then we came to yellow, like our color. Also, we were inspired a little bit in New York. We were born in New York, and we were inspired in the taxis, in all that look that has New York, that is very fascinating. I love the city. I'm really excited to live in this amazing city. So we talk a little bit from there. From that came all this space. Also, we wanted to talk to the guys in a more aspirational way. So we wanted to be a brand that can be aspired to be a little bit more like in the beauty industry, you know, with so many female brands. I think that many brands have been becoming more talking about to guys more from the perspective to be more funny, you know, more jokes, more humor. And we wanted to be a different kind of brand, you know. I don't know if I have the humor all the time. I don't have the right words to say the things in that way. So we wanted to be more aspirational. And also that comes a little bit with the purpose that we wanted to be since the beginning, that is about helping men to feel good, to be more confident. So we wanted to have that kind of voice to the consumer.
Well, now that you say the New York of it all and the taxis, I immediately see that. So it's so cool to hear you say it because that comes through. It's definitely like, oh, I'm looking at New York. It's a taxi cab, the branding all over the place. And it's certainly different. So I think that you guys have really accomplished that nicely. This is not like a just for men situation, which all looks the same. It's awful. Talk to us a little bit about the stigma. A lot of what you've said thus far has been around wanting to provide a solution to men that maybe they're not looking for or not wanting to admit that they're looking for. What do you think there is to that in terms of hesitation towards hair color that maybe they didn't use previously? You mentioned Zoom might have been a contributing factor. We're all looking at ourselves more than we had been previously, and maybe we're more interested in sort of keeping up our appearances. I'd love to hear from your perspective what you guys found.
By the way, we did a lot of research before launching the brand. And what we identified is that 50% of the guys say, I will never color. Actually, we had that sometimes when we have advertising and we have comments. It's like 50% of the people say, no, I'm okay with that. And we accept that, you know,
Sure.
we accept that everybody, actually, we wanted to empower people to choose how they want to look. And we can cover 100% of your grays, or we can cover part of your grays. We can do a salt and pepper look. So that's part of what we wanted to do. We wanted to give you the choices. And the second piece, from that 50%, some people, they were still scared about the process. They were still scared about how messy was the product. We don't do that all the time. Maybe the first time, like for girls, it's maybe easy because you begin with makeup, you have other kinds of things, and you become immediately an expert. But for guys, we just shave. So we try to make this process very easy in that sense. So our boss comes with 4 different simple steps. It's like making it's like hair color for dummies, where you have like step 1, step 2, step 3, what you need to do. We did the brushes that look like a razor. We were inspired in a razor, so it feels like it's what you are doing, like typically, especially for the beard. And that was one of the barriers that consumers were having. The second one is the stigma that, okay, if I do hair color or I beard dye, I'm gonna look, you know, unnatural, or I'm not gonna look like myself. So we put a lot of attention to develop colors that look more natural, to have more choices. I think the choice is a very important piece because we usually this category is in retailer, then you have limited space, you finish with 7, 8 shades. That's what guys we have to choose. You have to choose between dark black, brown, light blonde, and that's it. And you have a choice. So it's very difficult to find a product that really matches your skin tone or your original color. So we have more choices because we are DTC. We can select the right color for everybody. We can select the right also developer for everybody. So we can customize for every single consumer. So our objective is that to give every consumer a look that they feel more natural. Also, we encourage our users to connect with us after they use the product. We can adapt the color. We can reduce the darkness, we can improve how more red or more brown, whatever color do you need. So you feel more comfortable, you know, with the color, and we can give that choice. Yeah. When you go to an aisle of hair color for women, you have 6 brands, each one has 40, 50 shades. And when you go to an aisle for guys, then you just have 1 brand, and maybe if you are lucky, because space, you have 6, 7 choices in Target. So then, of course, you're not going to look natural because it's matter of all how many choices are out there for you. So that was another of the objectives and how we addressed that specific issue. And also, we have formulas that are more current, more updated. Our formulations are in cream, so they don't drip. They are more easy to apply. That's another issue for consumers. We did also research. Consumers were very unsatisfied, about how what happens in your bathroom after you use your hair color, especially because the current formulas out there, they are liquid. They are in this bottle that you squeeze all around, and it's a mess. And actually, we designed a formula that is more creamy, that is more contemporary, that it has the latest technology, and in that way, consumers have a more an experience that is more satisfying.
So let's talk a little bit about, I mean, you've already covered beautifully the differences between Cleverman and a lot of the available products. That like liquid drip situation, disgusting. We've seen it, turned into memes everywhere on the internet with a number of politicians, for example. That's not happening here. How do people access? So you mentioned DTC. So where do people go to purchase? What is that process like in terms of determining shades? I'd love to understand that process.
So what we do is like we created our own website. Actually, I used to work in consumer goods. Now I think I work in technology because all the time what we are doing is improving our e-commerce platform. We decide to create our own e-commerce platform. We are not on Shopify or any of the other platforms because we wanted that level of customization, that level of detail that those platforms didn't allow us to do it. So we began to develop our own platform. In that way, we have a quiz, we listen to the needs of the consumer, we simulate the results, then we can customize their product, we customize their gloves, we customize their developer, their colorant, their shampoo, their conditioner, the treatment, the kind of brush that they use. All is customized for every person. We can create up to 10,000 combinations today. So everybody gets what they really need, and then through our logistic operator, we produce that specific kit and we send it to the consumer. So that's how all the process works online. We are launching a new product. Actually, I'm very excited because we are launching now in Amazon. We couldn't customize on Amazon, but what is very interesting is that hair color specifically and beard dye is 50% about how you apply the product and 50% is about the product per se. So in this case, what we created is kits by color, like traditionally you buy it in a store, but we created a QRC code. People can get the quiz, and then we can customize their timing. We can customize how to apply it. This product is a little bit more versatile, and you can use it for your hair, your beard, or your touch-ups. So in one product, you can use it for everything. So the quiz tells you if you are doing beard, first apply it here. If you are doing hair, later apply it there. So we can customize all that application. Also, we can customize give you specific tips if you have different situations in the past. So that's something that we just launched. We're very excited about that because that gives us access to other channels. And in the future, we want to be in the arm's reach, of where people is shopping, where people is available. So we're evaluating other channels of distribution.
So incredible. Really cool to hear, particularly the technological aspect. I think that, you've said it, a lot of the competition in this space has yet to innovate, yet to customize. And this audience, this target, my generation, craves that, needs it, has to have it. So would love to talk a little bit about that technology in terms of what you guys refer to as perfect match and skin armor. What the heck are these things? How did we develop them? I'd love to hear more.
No, in terms of the e-commerce platform is where we are always innovating, for example, now one piece that we are really focusing on is that we can begin to also predict, as people is doing their quiz, I can predict that people is going to be happy, not happy, what problem they're going to have. So we can give them the right tips. Also, we can evaluate if that consumer is going to be a long-time consumer for us, or it maybe it's a short-term consumer. So we can act a little bit differently, even from the promotions, the activation that we can do with that specific consumers, because that gives us like is like an artificial intelligence that begins to help us to identify how that consumer is going to react to our products. And that's something that we are really focusing most of our energy today. Other one is, building an e-commerce platform all the time. We are finding solutions. We are learning how consumers are interacting. We have sometimes consumers happy with some things. We have some consumers that are unsatisfied with some things. So we are trying to continuously improving. And actually, our e-commerce platform is updated almost every 2 weeks. I think we are in the version, I don't know, maybe 100 now, where every 2 weeks we have been improving, optimizing, improving our quiz, improving how we do the right match, learning from the database how we give you the right color. So that's an ecosystem that is continuously learning, that I think that's what makes the difference.
Wow. Talk to us a little bit about the response. I mean, you mentioned in terms of consumer feedback, informing the changes that you guys make to your e-commerce platform. Generally, in terms of the formulation, the results, what is it that Cleverman is seeing from people?
Actually, no, we haven't seen usually they're very satisfied consumers, but consumers that they have specific needs, so we can try to address those needs. And we have, actually, as I mentioned, hair color gives you that characteristic that you can customize different elements to improve that experience. So we are continuously doing that. Some people, they need more timing, to develop their color, or some people need a different kind of developer, or some people, we can change their color. We can do different things. Also, we have been identifying new opportunities that we wanted to address in the future, with some specific consumers that we didn't know when we launched it. So that is driving some of our pipeline of innovation, for the future.
Incredible. Tell us, so much of our audience are salon professionals. How should they feel as regards Cleverman? Should they suggest this to their clients that are maybe considering? What are your thoughts there? What's the positioning?
Actually, this is a great question, because I think that for us, I think it's a tremendous opportunity there. As I mentioned, I used to work at Revlon in the consumer piece, but also in the professional side. So our managing both is a 50-50 business. 50% of the people, women, do hair coloring at home. 50% they do it at the salon. In the case of men, most of them, they do it at home. Actually, 90%. So it's a tremendous opportunity to bring those kind of solutions to barbershops. Is where we are more interested to develop the channel. It's something that we are exploring. It's one of our explorations, and now we have a product that maybe we can bring to them there. And what is very interesting is that specifically the salons have been doing tremendous job, developing different streams of revenue. They have the haircut, they have the coloration is a big one, and they sell high quality products there. That is another piece of revenue. So they have been able to manage a lot of revenue. Barber shops, on the other side, is more like a volume thing.
Exactly.
And everybody comes and goes, it's very quickly. But there are some barber shops where we wanted to work, and they're beginning to see that it's also value there, that we can create not just only volume, but you can also create value. And I think that products like us could represent an opportunity where consumers, maybe they can go there. Our product also works in 5 minutes. It's very easy. It's very easy to apply. Also, it's applied on beard that maybe is less risky for a guy. Saying that you're going to do your hair is different than maybe you're covering some of the beards. And maybe this could become an opportunity for them to sell products to that consumer and maybe bring their kit home, because this needs to be, for beard, you need to use it every week. So you can begin there and you can continue your process at home. So we are exploring that opportunity with some salons at this moment.
Very, very cool. Talk to us a little bit about the subscription aspect. So you just mentioned beard coloring needs to be more frequent than hair on one's head, for example. So how much of the business is subscription based? Are you finding that people are on the hook for multiple boxes over time, or is this something that they've been slower to adopt?
No, actually, that's the beauty of the business. When people come to our website, 50% of the people, they decide to subscribe. 50% of the people, they decide to just go for one purchase. With the people that go for one purchase, we continue pursuing them, with through promotions or activation, etc., to bring them back. And from those that repurchase, maybe 40% they decide to subscribe over the time. And the other great thing is that today, from our revenues, 76% of our revenues are coming from recurring users, people who are buying continuously the product. Just only 24% are new every month. So we have a good base of revenue that allow us to invest to drive new users. And in terms of the retention, we are retaining around 52% of the subscribers during the first year and 40% during the second year. We are working more on that. We are learning why people is canceling. We are learning how we can improve our system. So it is a continuous learning, but I think this category, there are categories, different categories in retail, that you can use a subscription model. This one makes sense. Some don't make sense. This one makes sense. If you get your right color for that, you get your right product, you're going to continue using it. People is very loyal. To the main competitor in the drugstore channel, when we address it, we did a lot of research before launching. I think that's something that I suggest to people before launching any product, to test, to learn something about the consumer. And what we learn is that that consumer that is out there is very loyal. They're not going to change their brand that easy. And by the way, they have been using that for many years, and because they are attached to that. So actually our strategy has been going more for millennials, for new people that is coming into the category. We want to grow with them. We want to help them as they are evolving. So we are attacking more that specific segment of the population. We are not trying to convert 60, 70-year-old guys. So our objective was not about going for that specific target that is already captured. It was more about developing that specific target that is younger, that is looking for a new solution. Actually, one of the things that happened to us is that our kits are reusable. So one of the things that didn't work for us is that our user is so young that they don't use, 4 times. It lasts more than 4 times. That it was what we expected initially. Is lasting for them 6 times, So, but at the end, it's great that we are capturing, that younger user, usually a millennial that is looking for this kind of product. So.
Incredible. Well, I mean, I'm so excited to see sort of where you guys are headed, because this, I think you've got down packed. I mean, it sounds like so much of the marketing background that you had coming to good use here. Talk to us a little bit about the future. You had mentioned at the top of this podcast, maybe there's other skincare eventually, some supplements perhaps. We're talking about vitality. What's on the horizon for Cleverman?
Yeah, I think that for us is that. So, but building on your point, actually, I wanna begin there. This question. I think that we as a brand, we are gonna evolve continuously, and even me as a person, So, I could have all the background in marketing, but to be honest, what I have been learning during the last 3-4 years with Cleverman has been insane. I feel like I was a dinosaur in marketing, and now. Because you are more, in established companies doing more traditional advertising, more traditional retail, and then I had to switch here to do DTC, commerce, technology. I'm doing sprints all the weeks, upgrading our website, upgrading our platform all the time. So, and looking at the future, I think that that's about 3 pieces: to continue developing that connection with the consumer through a direct relationship. We think our DTC channel give us that opportunity, the opportunity to predict, understand needs, predict where consumers are going. We have a lot of information, and that information allow us to create better products, better solutions for the consumer. That's what we wanted to do, and how we are using that data. Who is not captured, who didn't like, why they didn't like, so we can continue to optimize and create better solutions. The second one, it is more about to be an omni-channel brand. We wanted to be where consumers are, You mentioned it, people go to barber shops or to salons. We wanted to be there, or maybe to people go to some of the retail stores. I want to be more careful about that. I know that many DTC brands are jumping into retail very quickly now, and it's a lot of push from VCs to go into retail very quickly. But I worked in retail for so many years. You just have one chance there. It's a very, you can be there for 1 year or 6 months, but then you are not there. So if you are gonna go there, we need to do it with the right product, the right solution, and knowing that we are gonna be competitive, that we're gonna be productive, that we're gonna be productive for the retailer. And the third piece, I think, for us is to launch in new categories. It's expansion behind. We didn't want it. If we were launching a male color brand, we will launch it like something male color. We are not called color. We are called Cleverman. So we wanted to create clever solutions for men to look good and to feel good about themselves. So we wanted to go in those categories that are adjacent to us, that maintains men's vitality, energy, that they feel good about themselves, and could go from some personal care products to some beauty products to maybe some, as we mentioned, maybe some pills or some vitamins that help you, to feel good and to have that level of energy. So what you project in the mirror in your daily activities is the energy that you have inside.
Curious, given your background, you had mentioned parents coming from Colombia, there being a huge USH Latinx population within the States, and your background previously marketing in Latin America. Curious, in terms of expansion, is Cleverman going to be available to folks in the region outside of the US?
We have been thinking about that. It's like a lot of opportunities in US. I think that you should focus. So we are really focused in US. I think that the next space that we have been looking at this country is maybe Canada, UK, because it's a very similar dynamic.
Sure.
But to be honest, I think that as a business person, I think I need to be focused. I need to be laser focused on developing the things that we need to do, and we want it to be focused in US at this moment.
Makes sense. All right. Before we get into our quick takes, could you let people know where they can find Cleverman? This is the op. Let's plug all of the .coms, the social, so that people know where to go.
So you can find us in becleverman.com. Yeah. that's our website. That's easy. Just Be Cleverman.
And we'll make sure that everything's in the show notes. So we'll make it nice and easy for everybody. All right, Carlos, we are going to ask you the quick takes. These are the questions that we ask of all of our guests. The first question is, what is the first ever beauty or hair product that you remember owning?
Beauty or hair product that
was there a gel? Was there a pomade, maybe an aftershave? I don't know. These are things. I don't want to lead you.
I don't know. Maybe I think that's my first deodorant. I'm gonna be honest,
Perfect. An essential, honestly. Coming of right sort of thing. Are you superstitious? And if so, about what?
No, I'm not superstitious at all. I think that I think that you create your own destiny. Always. I have been thinking like that. I don't believe that nothing is out there telling you who you need to be or how you want to be. So you choose it, you do it, and you pursue that.
That sounds like it aligns really nicely with the brand ethos, Carlos. I can see that.
I'm not superstitious at all. No.
Okay. All good.
I like black cats. I can go down the stairs. I can do whatever. So no worries about any of those things.
Good. I'm glad. If someone were to play you in a biopic about your life, who would it be?
I don't know. That's a difficult question.
This is one that gets people stumped. I'm sure it would be, big shoes to fill. So.
No. Maybe actually, I would prefer to have a documentary.
Oh, okay. We like that. A pivot.
I think that I would love to do maybe a documentary, and I want it to be maybe in this phase, but maybe in the next phase of my life where I can do more contribution, because I think that I'm doing this entrepreneur thing, but for the future, I'm thinking to do more things around social aspects and helping the environment, helping people to get that confidence working with NGOs. So I think that maybe I will do that later, and maybe I'll do a documentary how you could be a Latino coming to the US, how you can grow, how you can create your company, and then how you can give back to people. That's what I want to do. I have been not doing that yet, but that's what I would love to do.
Well, I would watch that documentary, and I feel like if there are marketers out there working for some companies, you just got that pitch. Let's make it happen for Carlos. Give him some time, and then let's make that project happen. What would you consider to be the ultimate comfort food?
Oh, my mother's food, of course. This is the best food in the world.
We love
That's
it.
my comfort food.
Mom's always coming through. All right, our last question, and this is really a plug for products that you're using, because so many of the people that listen to this podcast are, obsessed with beauty and hair product. So say that you're on a deserted island and you can only bring 3 beauty, hair, men's grooming products. What would those be?
Yeah, or the Cleverman products.
Drop them. What are they? What are the ones? What are the things?
I'm bringing my shampoo, my conditioner, my breast scrub, face scrub, and my hair color, just in case.
Boom. Perfect. And it comes in an incredible little kit. I mean, it's ready-made for a disaster, basically. That's all you need, the essentials. Carlos, it has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. One more time, so that people walk away knowing where the heck to go. Where can they find the brand? Where can they find you on social?
Yeah, I'm in LinkedIn. That's Carlos Barreto, and our website is becleverman.com.
Easy. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.